Something strange is happening in Nigeria. A man who has never said he wants to be president in 2027 is already being treated like a president by millions of young Nigerians. No declaration. No posters. No campaign videos. No rented crowds. Nothing. Yet, his name is on the lips of the youth. He is not shouting. But the people are speaking for him. Why? Because the youth are watching. And they know who is real and who is fake. Let's be honest. Nigerian youth are tired. Tired of the same old faces. Tired of the same old speeches. Tired of leaders who don't understand their pain. Every election, they hear the same things. We will fix the roads. We will fight corruption. We will provide jobs. But after the elections? Nothing changes. Prices go up. Salaries stay the same. Power supply is still poor. Security is worse. Now, this generation of youth is saying enough. They are not just angry anymore. They're getting organized. They are watching every move. They are studying every politician. They know the real from the fake. And somehow, this one man, who hasn't even declared for presidency, is leading the conversation. Who is he? He's not loud. He doesn't show off. He doesn't dance on stage. He's not always in the media. But his image speaks louder than all the noise. The youth saw how he handled his role in his country. They saw how he stood firm under pressure. They saw that he didn't run away when things got tough. He stayed. He fought. He gave hope. That kind of boldness is rare in Nigeria's political space. And that's why the youth respect him. They see him as someone who acts, not someone who talks too much. Someone who doesn't try to buy respect. But someone who earned it through courage and truth. Here's the truth. No one told the youth to support him. No one paid them. No political party asked them to do it. It started naturally. One tweet. One TikTok video. One Instagram post. One song lyric. Then it became a wave. A quiet but powerful movement. Young people began to post about him. They made artwork. They used his words as captions. They shared videos of his speeches. Even comedians started to reference him. But still, he said nothing. He didn't jump on the trend. He didn't say, "I'm coming in 2027. He stayed silent. Focused. Disciplined. That made the youth love him even more. You see, in Nigeria, we are used to politicians who force themselves on the people. They rent crowds. They share money in markets. They hold rallies with loud music and free rice. But once they get into power, they disappear. This man is different. He didn't come to the youth. The youth went to him. And that's something Nigerian politicians don't understand. When someone moves the youth without speaking, when people believe in your leadership without you asking, that's not normal. That's powerful. That's leadership without campaigning. And that's exactly what's happening here. He hasn't said he wants to be president. But the youth are already calling him our next leader. He hasn't printed one banner. But people are already printing shirts with his face on it. He hasn't given one political speech. But his old speeches are trending every day on social media. He hasn't visited any political godfathers. But the streets already know his name. This is the kind of respect you can't buy. It comes from authenticity. It comes from trust. And in Nigeria right now, trust is rare. Some people are confused. They ask, but how can he win if he doesn't talk? But how can he win if he doesn't join a party now? But how can someone become president without shouting and dancing? But the youth don't care about those questions. They care about what they feel. They care about who stood with the people when it mattered most. They care about who gave them hope when others were silent. And for them, the answer is clear. They've seen what he did in his own country. They believe he can do more for Nigeria. Even if he never says a word. Even if he never replies. The movement has started. And this time, it's not about money. It's not about tribe. It's not about religion. It's about character. It's about strength. It's about trust. He is the silent star in a noisy political system. And somehow, his silence is louder than all the campaign jingles. The youth are tired. But they are also ready. And they are choosing who they trust, not who pays them. He hasn't declared for 2027. But in their hearts, many young Nigerians have already declared for him. The Nigerian youths are not waiting for 2027. They've started moving now. They don't want to waste time this time. They've learned from the past. They've seen how slow reactions can lead to regrets. So now, they're acting early. Very early. This time, they're not waiting for a politician to show interest. They're not waiting for anyone to come and promise them anything. They've seen someone who fits what they need. And they've made up their minds. Even before he says a word. This is a new kind of energy. It's not about hype. It's not about trends. It's not even about social media noise. It's deep. It's emotional. It's personal. For the first time in a long time, many young Nigerians feel like they have someone who actually understands them. Not someone trying to control them. Not someone trying to trick them. But someone who has shown strength and honesty, even without asking for power. They've watched how he handled hard times in his own country. They saw how he took risks that most politicians would never take. They saw how he stayed with his people when things were falling apart. No expensive suit. No drama. Just action. That's what touched the youth. Not his title. Not his background. Not his popularity. His actions. That's why they're not waiting for him to declare. They've already declared for him in their own way. And when Nigerian youths move like this, early, united, and loud, it means something big is happening. In the past, they were often divided. Tribe. Religion. Region. North versus South. East versus West. But now? That noise is going down. Many youths don't care where a person is from anymore. They care about what the person stands for. They care about integrity. They care about leadership that's real. They care about someone who can say no when it matters. Someone who doesn't follow the usual political script. That's why this support is growing so fast. Nobody is controlling it. Nobody is financing it. It's raw. It's honest. It's not sponsored. And that's exactly why it scares the old system. Because they can't stop something they didn't start. Young people are now the biggest voting group in Nigeria. They make up the majority of the population. They are tired of suffering and they want someone different. Not just someone new, but someone strong, clear, and unbowed. In every corner of the country, the feeling is rising. From Lagos to Kaduna. From Port Harcourt to Jos. From Enugu to Abuja. The same message is coming out. We want change that feels real. And we've found someone already. He hasn't printed a flyer. He hasn't visited any traditional rulers. He hasn't formed any campaign team. Still, they are calling his name. Still, they are planning for him. Still, they are defending him online like soldiers. It's not just political anymore. It's emotional. They feel like they've been ignored for too long. Now, they want someone they can be proud of. Someone who doesn't see leadership as a business. Someone who sees it as a responsibility. And the more the youth speak up, the more nervous the system becomes. Because this wasn't how it was supposed to go. They expected the usual noise. They expected people to follow the same old political names. They expected the crowd to wait until 2026 before waking up. But now, things have changed. There are group chats across the country. There are hashtags. There are street conversations. There are quiet meetings. All focused on one question: how can we protect this person from the political system? How can we make sure they don't block him before he even starts? How do we make him feel our support now? Because the youth have seen the tricks. They know how the system can frustrate a good man. They've seen how strong voices get pushed aside. They know how politics in Nigeria can silence even the best among us. So this time, they're trying something different. Show support early. Make the message loud. Make the support impossible to ignore. They are building a wall around this man. Not a physical wall, but a wall of loyalty. A wall of trust. A wall of belief. They are saying to the system, you may block him politically, but you can't block him in our hearts. You may play your usual game, but we're playing a different one now. You may try to use money, but we've seen beyond that. It's no longer about elections. It's about identity. It's about self-worth. It's about the future. They are not just supporting him to win. They're supporting him because they believe in who he is. Even if he never declares. Even if he chooses not to run. Even if the system blocks him completely. They have made their point. That they are awake. That they are united. That they are ready. And that alone has changed the game. Forever. In Aso Rock, the pressure is growing. There's a quiet storm in the air. Something is happening across the country, and the president can feel it. It's not coming from the usual opposition. It's not coming from the media or from the old political parties. It's coming from the youth. And it's centered around one man. A man who hasn't declared any interest. A man who hasn't spoken a single word about 2027. A man who is not even playing the game. Yet somehow, he's winning the hearts of the people. And that is exactly why Tinubu is not sleeping well. He knows Nigerian politics. He's been in the game for decades. He understands how things usually go. Wait until the last year, gather your boys, flood the streets with money. And call the shots. But this time, it's different. Very different. The movement didn't start from Abuja. It didn't start from political meetings. It didn't start with power brokers. It started from the bottom. From the youth. From the tired ones. From the disappointed generation. From the people who have nothing left to lose. And now, it's spreading fast. Tinubu knows this kind of energy is dangerous to the old system. Because when the people are no longer afraid, when they begin to speak with one voice, when they choose a leader for themselves, they become impossible to control. He's seen this before. In other countries. In movements that swept away old leaders. So yes, he's watching. He may act like everything is calm. He may smile in public. He may attend functions and wave at the cameras. But behind closed doors, meetings are being held. Phone calls are being made. Reports are coming in daily. And his advisors are worried. Why? Because they don't understand how this man became so powerful without lifting a finger. He doesn't have a party. He doesn't have sponsors. He doesn't do interviews. He doesn't appear on TV shows. He doesn't even post regularly on social media. Still, his influence is growing. That kind of influence cannot be bought. It cannot be faked. And it cannot be ignored. There's also something else bothering Tinubu. He knows how fragile the current situation is. The economy is shaky. Inflation is high. Fuel prices have gone up. The naira is unstable. Unemployment is rising. And the people are getting angry. He knows this anger needs only one thing to turn into a full political fire: hope. And right now, the youth have found their hope in someone else. Someone younger. Someone more disciplined. Someone who is not connected to the old mess. Someone who they believe can clean the system, not just manage it. That's what keeps Tinubu up at night. It's not just the person. It's what he represents. He represents everything the current government is not. And that's dangerous for anyone in power. This is not just about 2027. It's about legacy. It's about survival. Tinubu knows the power of the youth. He saw what happened during the #EndSARS movement. He saw how organized they became. He saw how they moved money, built platforms, and sent a message without needing politicians. That shook the entire system. Now imagine that same energy, focused on one man, one name, one face, with a silent agreement among millions of people to make sure he gets there. It's a nightmare for the old system. Because the usual weapons won't work. They can't bribe their way out. They can't intimidate everyone. They can't throw money at a generation that has seen through the lies. The youth are not looking for someone to chop with. They are looking for someone to build with. And that's what Tinubu cannot offer. He's too far from their world. He's too deep in the old game. There's another fear in Aso Rock. What if this man decides to run? What if one day he comes out and says, "Okay, I've heard your voices. Let's go." That declaration alone could shake the entire political foundation of the country. All the planned strategies, all the arranged alliances, all the silent agreements could scatter in one day. That's why Tinubu and his team are not just watching. They are planning. They are thinking of ways to block him before he starts. They are thinking of ways to weaken his image. They are trying to dig into his past. They are trying to use tribal games again. But it may be too late. Because the people have already made a choice. Not based on campaigns. Not based on party names. But based on trust. And trust cannot be faked overnight. It has to be earned. And this man has already earned it, without even asking. There's also the fear of what this might inspire. If the youth succeed in pushing someone like him to power, what stops them from doing it again? What stops them from taking over more offices? What stops them from building a whole new system? Tinubu knows the risk. He knows this isn't just about a single election. It's a bigger shift. The youth are not just trying to vote. They're trying to take ownership. That's the biggest threat of all. Because once the people realize their power, there's no turning back. So yes, Tinubu is not sleeping well. The silence of this one man is too loud. The loyalty of the youth is too strong. The momentum is too real. And 2027 is not far. Even if the man never declares. He has already exposed the weakness of the system. He has already shown what real leadership should look like. And that alone is shaking the foundation. The game has changed. And everyone at the top knows it.